Hey guys, it's Jason with the Board Game Mechanics, and today we're going to take a look at a game called Kingdoms of the Deep. Kingdoms of the Deep is from Weird Giraffe Games. It plays 1 to 6 players, about 60 minutes-ish, depending on, how long players take on their turn, so on and so forth, yada, yada, yada. You get the, you know that drill. What you're doing in this game is you're going to take on the role of a sea creature. Not really, but it's just a player color like turtles, seahorses, so on and so forth. And you're going to be playing cards from your hand, doing some simultaneous action selection to take some kind of special ability to try to have the most creatures in certain hexes on the board. So this is a simultaneous action area control game, which we don't talk about a ton of area control games here, but we're going to talk about this one. So that's enough talking about it, or not really talking about it, or just blathering on about nothing. Let's go down the table, check it out. All right, so here's a game of Kingdoms of the Deep, all set up for 2 players. I'm going to go through setup kind of quickly. Then I'm going to show you, a couple rounds and what all the actions do, just so you can kind of see how the game plays. All right, so to set up, you're going to first put out the scoreboard here, which is going to track the rounds, going to have some round scoring goals, in-game points. Each player will put a marker on 0 up there in their color. Give each player a player board. So in this case, I have the white player and the blue player. You're going to mark the first spaces of shark, reset, move, deploy, bolster, or in bolster. But actually, you don't have to mark reset. You can put the reset cube wherever you want. Then you're going to pick, in turn order, you're going to pick a terrain type, and you're going to put one of your cubes on that terrain type, so which I've done. So this player is going after the green, and that player is in the coral reef. And then each player is also going to get a set of cards, which are going to be identical. Going to have deploy, bolster, reset, move, upgrade, shark. Basically every action that's on your board, you have a card for, with the exception of upgrade, because there's not something on your board on there. So now, here's how the game's going to work. It's pretty easy. Everybody's going to pick a card, and then based on the action that you select, you're going to get to take, or based on the card that you select, you're going to get to take that action. And if you're the only person that selects the action, you also get to do the solo ability down there. So it's going to make the action a little stronger, which is cool. So let's just go ahead and do it. I'm going to go ahead. White player is going to play this one. Blue player, they're going to play. Let's do this one just so we can see a couple different actions. All right. So then what we're going to do is we're going to flip. So this player is doing deploy. This player is doing shark. All right, so white player's first. And what we're going to be doing here is we're going to take the action. So deploy. When you're deploying, you're basically going to get new units out on the board. So your deploy strength is 2. The way you have to deploy, you have to put it on either a tile where someone else is, or a tile that's adjacent to one. So I could just, go from there, and then I can use this one to, go over there. So you can build off the one that you just lay down. So let's go ahead and do it here. I think I'm going to start encroaching on this one. Let's go up here. So I'm going to try to get into the capital. Those are the tiles that are outlined in gold. So then this card's discarded, but because I'm the only person that did it, I can also place 1 additional cube on an adjacent or occupied hex. So basically I get to do 3 instead of 2. So let's go ahead and put one right there. All right, so that was my turn. This player has the shark. All right. So what happens here is they're going to be moving the shark around, which is represented by this disc here. This is a prototype, so everything you see here is probably going to be a little bit different, but this is the shark. So what you're going to do is you have 2 movements on the shark. You can move it too. You can do 2 things with it. You can move, you can eat. So let's just go ahead and eat, because that sounds fun. So I'm going to move here. I'm going to eat this for 2. Then when you eat a cube, it's going to go down here into your bait pile. You're going to get points at the end of the game based on what this card says here. So it's 1 point for every cube in your bait pile. And if you can cross over one of those icons, you're going to get to take that action, which is cool. So that was their turn. Oh, well, they get 1 more. And because they were the only person to do shark, they can take an extra action. So let's go ahead and move the shark up here. That's not really smart. Let's move it down here. So they're going to move it down here. All right, then we do it again. So blue's first player now. So they're going to pick a card. Let's just do, I'm going to just try to show you all the actions. So they're going to play this one. White's going to play this one. All right, then we'll flip. So white is doing a bolster. Blue is doing an upgrade. Blue's first, so they're going to upgrade. Upgrade's pretty easy. You're going to get to upgrade a cube. So you can put a new reset cube on there. You can slide one of your others over, and that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm actually going to slide over deploy to 3. And then if you're the only person to play upgrade, you can do another upgrade. So in this case, I can do another one. Let's do move to 2. All right, then white is doing bolster. Bolster is basically going to let you reinforce tiles that you're on. So you can place that many on occupied hexes. But because I have a solo ability, I can place 4. So I get to place 4 cubes on places where I am occupying. So there's 2 here. Let's go ahead and come over here. So I'm bolstering my forces, sitting in reinforcements, however you want to say it. All right, then we'll come over here. Let's see. This player's going to do this one just because you haven't seen it. And then I'm just going to go ahead and do this one so you can see that one as well. All right, so blue flips. White flips. White's doing reset, which you probably wouldn't do, but I'm just showing you. And blue's doing move. So white is first. So what they're going to do is reset. So when you reset, couple things. If you're the only person to play reset, you get a bonus point. So I get a bonus point. I am white, so I get 1 point. Then what you're going to do is you're going to pick up all your cards. So I'm going to pick up all these cards. And then I have a couple other options. I can reset my terrain focus, which means I can start, oh, I can't bolster over here. Just kidding. I have to bolster on my terrain focus. So I can, that way when I bolster, I can start focusing on different terrain types. What I think I'm going to do, I'm going to come up here to the coral so I can fight with them. And then I get the bonus action on my reset, which at this point is deploy. I can deploy 2. So let's go here and there. All right. And that was that. Then blue player, they're going to show you the last action, which is move. And move is you get to just move that many spaces. So I can take existing troops and move them. So I'm going to do 1, and I'll move 1 over here. All right. Another thing, when you play reset, it's going to advance the round marker 1. When the round marker hits these 3 spaces, we're going to have some scoring. I'm not going to go into that, but the cards are going to give you some scoring abilities. There's also going to be a during game ability with a lightning bolt, which whenever you take a bolster action, in this case, you would have gotten to do something else. I'm not going to do that, but just know it's in there. The goal of the game is you're trying to get majorities on the capital tiles, which are these ones with gold. If you can have the majority every scoring round, you get 2 points. If at any time in the game, at a scoring round, you control all 6, you win the game. That is super cool. One other thing, Atlantis. If a cube ever passes into Atlantis, it goes into the Atlantis tower, but I have a bag. And every cube in Atlantis at the end of the game is worth a point, but they're also going to give you some in-game points based on whoever has the majority, which is pretty cool. So there is some game into that as well. So maybe you just want to burn all your cubes, try to get a lot of points, see how that works out for you. So that's the gist of Kingdoms of the Deep. Yes, I probably left some stuff out. Also when you go to a scoring round, you're also going to bring in another shark just to make it more interesting. And that's the game. So let's go up the top, see what we think about it. All right, well, that was Kingdoms of the Deep. Before we get started here, everything you saw in the video was a prototype. Atlantis is not going to be a bag. It's going to be like a tower that you can throw the cubes in that sits on the tile, which would be cooler. The sharks are going to be some kind of meeple or standee or something. The player pieces, like the cubes, are going to actually be all the same color. You can see the blues were different colors. The box is a little bit of different size, which I didn't really show you. The rule book's going to be nicer than in my copy. Again, I didn't show you that. But there's going to be some updates when the production copy is actually here. This is a prototype that's going to get people excited for the Kickstarter that's going to be coming up. Link in the description below. All right, so now let's talk about the game. So this is a simultaneous action area majority or area control game, where you're basically going to play a card, you're trying to get more units out on the board, trying to move units around, trying to just conquer the different capitals, of which there are 6, to score some points during the scoring rounds. And if at a scoring round you control all 6, you win the game. That's probably going to be pretty hard to do. Somebody would really have to be sleeping to let that happen, but it's possible. So that's pretty cool. This game's really fun. I love that it has that Concordia mechanism a little bit where you're playing cards down, you're going to play them down, but then you have a card that's going to let you pick them all back up. And when you play that card, you're going to also get a special power or 2 or 3 or 4 based on how many times you've upgraded your reset action. So that's really cool. Sometimes it feels like a waste of a turn when you have to take your whole turn picking stuff up. Think of Century Spice Road. You take your turn, it's picking up cards. That's it. You don't get to do anything else. That's lame and boring and dumb. So at least in this one, you get to pick up your cards, because eventually you're going to have to pick up your cards. That's the nature of this kind of game. You're going to get to do something else. Like you may get to take 3 other actions, 4 other actions. That's awesome. So it doesn't feel like such a waste when you have to take the reset action. Sometimes you may actually use that as an ability, as the card you want to play when you don't need to do it, because you might get to take a pile of other actions, and that's cool. This game's cool. I love the art on the player boards. I don't know how well you saw that, but I can show you one right here. So this is the seahorse, the yellow, narwhal. Dude, I should have played that in the run through. That's awesome. No one ever played with the narwhal. That's sweet. Some kind of crab. Just the art is really good. Weird Giraffe is really good at art. It's bright and colorful. This is also in the Animal Kingdoms universe. I don't know if it's a universe, but there's a series of games. There's Animal Kingdoms. There's Animal Kingdoms Roar and Right. And then there's this one. They kind of share just the theme of animals and color palette and all that type of stuff. You don't have to play one like the other. Irrelevant. I just wanted to mention that because I think it's cool when companies kind of just take their product and just expand it into a bunch of other areas. That's cool to me. So I like this game. It's fun. It's something that I would continue to play. It's something that, it's easy to teach and easy to play. And I think most people could play it. So I'm going to hold on to this. Well, not this one because it's a prototype, but I'm going to try to get a final copy and keep this on my shelves. Bust it out whenever the time calls for it or whenever I think people would enjoy it. And I'm going to give this a BGM accepted seal. I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10 on BGG, which is a 3.5 out of 5 on an arbitrary rank scale that means absolutely nothing. But we like to give it the games that we enjoy, because that's what this podcast and this video channel is all about. It's talking about games because we like talking about games. So that was Kingdoms of the Deep. I'm Jason with the Board Game Mechanics. And as always, keep gaming.